It looks like Calgarians can start downloading that Uber app again because the rideshare company could be coming back to the city by December 6th after a long battle with City Council over bylaws surrounding transportation network companies or TNCs. The city chased the company out of town last year after they launched without adhering to certain regulations like having the right insurance, background checks, and vehicle inspections, according to the city. That insurance wasn't actually available in Alberta at the time, and although the city argued that they would be operating illegally, Uber started up anyways. This led to the city launching a sting operation by hiring criminals to infiltrate their background check system in order to get an injunction against Uber granted, so they could no longer operate until they followed the city's rules. You might remember when Mayor of Calgary, Naheed Nenshi, was caught on camera by a Lyft driver in Boston admitting to this.
We're no fools, so we sent people to sign up to be Uber drivers to see if they could get through the background check.
Just to see
how we found registered sex offenders
How
and
did you
people
find
with,
them?
I don't want to know. And people with convictions for violent crimes. I don't want to know why we know those people.
Wow.
I just don't want to know. Nobody will tell me, and I don't want to know.
Wow.
But they all made it through Uber's theoretical background screening.
He also talked about personally writing to the CEO of Lyft because he was nicer than that of Uber to welcome him to start his own operation in the city. Nenshi assured everyone that public safety was at the heart of his concerns about Uber operating in the city, but it was obviously more about a clash of personalities and what he wanted rather than what the people of Calgary want, which is actually what he was hired to do. He did, after all, call the CEO of Uber a dick and personally invited Lyft to open up shop, I'm assuming to stick it to Uber and make a point. He was clearly picking and choosing which businesses could enter the city based on his personal preference. But that backfired when Lyft also said that the rules in Calgary were unfavorable. And it looks like this is what caused the city to loosen up on those. Under the old rules, TNCs were required to pay hefty fees both up front and on a per kilometer basis, undergo background checks, stringent vehicle inspections, the list goes on. Uber declared that these rules weren't workable, especially for their part-time drivers. Now the city has said they'll lift the injunction and that they've changed the rules somewhat, including the TNC pay scale to be more favorable to Uber drivers and the company. This is under the condition that the company pay the fees, which are around $20,000 for the costs surrounding the injunction. One thing to take into consideration, though, is that Uber has been operating in Edmonton for quite some time now. So why was the mayor of Calgary singing such a different tune besides the fact that he didn't like Uber's CEO? Well, some suggest it's because the city favors the taxi cartel and they're somewhat protected. For example, there's no C-train service to the airport where the only easy way to a destination is to grab a taxi, which costs up to 30% more than an Uber in some cases. But the city doesn't have enough taxis. Anyone that lives here knows how hard it is to get one during a snowstorm or stampede, or even on a late night out. But it looks like Uber and Freedom have won for now, and Calgarians will be able to enjoy the freedom of a cheaper ride-sharing service, which, by the way, is excellent. I had a chance to take an Uber in Toronto recently. All you do is log into an app, you choose a driver, you know their location and license plate number. It was clean, affordable, and efficient. I think once Calgarians take a ride in an Uber, they're never going to go back. For the Rebel.media, I'm Holly Nicholas. Thanks so much for watching. The Rebel is growing and we need your help. Visit thebigplan.ca, and if you can, please donate to help us reach our goal of being the biggest source for news and commentary in Canada.